guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout. Join our Discord link below to be a part of our community, and you can become an official part of the Hideout by being a member, which we offer 2 different tiers of pricing. Shout out to our Elite and Phantom members. I'm Tiberius, and with me as always is Dice.
Yo.
And today we're getting into chapter 120. And look, let me just start by saying the editor needs to remind Hokuzono where the previous chapter left off. Bro, this is the second time within this chunk of chapters where we just kind of don't start where the last one did. There's no sign of centipede on RU. And what I mean, that was the big, cliffhanger of last chapter. And the last time was when the motherfucker started floating and making the furniture float. Then the next chapter is that doesn't happen.
Yeah, he just kind of completely ignores where last chapter left off. This is nope, never mind.
Yeah, that or gotta bookmark this shit. But it's that's not even really a complaint because it's not that big of a deal or nothing. It's just something that I thought was funny. Or you mentioned the centipede thing, and that's the second time it happened, because especially the first time was a very jarring change, considering we see somebody floating and making the bodies around him float. I mean, maybe that comes into play later somehow in this genjutsu-esque air, the toxic air they're breathing in is, or maybe it's all a dream. Sheba's gonna wake up.
Yeah, I think at least it's like you're saying, I think it could be related to that toxic air that we'll get into more in a bit, that kind of Yoshi Nojo catches on to. I think there's definitely something there, but it's still funny nonetheless.
Yeah, it's just a funny little thing to point out. And I mean, we begin with kind of where we left off last chapter, just minus the centipede.
Yeah,
Hiroto is getting the most glaze I think I've seen someone get, which we all know that's a scary thing, because what happens after the glaze with Hokuzono is that's always the gut punch, and literally my man's got gut punched.
Oh yeah, literally gut punched.
Yeah. Oh, he got his gut pushed in.
Okay.
Then he got the glaze at the highest speed humanly possible, and then his face just gets grabbed. He's perception blitzed by RU. It's oh yeah, y'all are humanly fast, I'm bug fast.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the statement, his body which contained Kurotsuchi was the greatest achieved by mankind, is that in itself is just a crazy statement. And in typical Kagurabachi fashion, is just insane glaze to ultimately set up the opponent. Watch this. It's
our good guys are built different. Oh, but the bad guys,
they're more built different.
Different. Yeah, they're built really different. And maybe that's the point of saying these Mikaboshi guardians are beyond the realm of human possibility. You shouldn't consider them on the same tier.
Oh, definitely not, right? Especially with how
from what we see. Yeah.
Yeah, the way they wield Datenseki is definitely even for us that we've spent a good amount of time kind of seeing with the enchanted blades what Datenseki is capable of. It's so cool that through these Mikaboshi guys, or mainly Aryu really, we kind of see a whole different take on that, while also conveying an immense sense of power. I think that's pretty cool. It's not just the exactly what we've seen with the enchanted blades, right? I think that is a very interesting
application.
Yeah.
And the it's so funny too, on the what is that, the third page, Hiroto and RU are just looking at each other in complete disgust. They are just fed up with it. They know, because he knows that's the Soga sorcery that took out the original clan head, the founder and all that. And I'm sure Hiroto is not really feeling this shit. This guy just ate the Kurotsuchi, this ability that's praised and highly acclaimed. And she was just basically watching, trying to shake the turd out of his pocket again. He's where do I teleport? Where do I teleport? That's all he's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, and regardless, he tries to pull up behind Airyu, and Airyu's invulnerable to sorcery, which is like, again, we're talking about like how one character gets glazed and then somehow this other character just completely one-ups him with the glaze that they get. Because I'm sorry, but like invulnerability to sorcery is pretty fucking ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. Hokuzono finally answered my fan mail. I was like, can you just make somebody just like neg that teleport ability? And he's finally read my mail, because I finally get to see Sheba get the hands put on him. It's been 120 chapters, and I finally get to see him truly get the hands put on him. Not even on him. Well, he gets
on
his
them,
shit
yeah.
rocked to in the chest, but his neck gets grabbed as he gets choked out. Boy,
yeah,
love to see it. But I do have some glaze for Sheba towards the end of the chapter, though. I will say that. So, Sheba fans, I'm getting there. Just give me time.
It's taking you a minute.
Yeah, it's like a gambler. I'm a gambling addict. It's like, hi, I'm Tiberius, and I'm a Sheba hater. Hi, Tiberius. I need to go to a meeting.
Yeah, but it is crazy how like Sheba's, basically he saves Hiroto from being absolutely smoked. And like Airyu just completely, even how he like teleports away, Airyu still like manages to speed blitz him and, like you said, just like barrage him with punches. And it looks like he like sends Sheba one way with the punches, and in that like bottom left panel, which is kind of a bit hard to make out, it seems like he's kicking Hiroto the other way. So like this dude Airyu is just like, I mean, we already knew, right? But like he's just on
him.
Yeah, like he's just on another level, man. Like crazy stuff.
Oh, facts. And then like the panel where we see them kind of getting separated and flying away, you can just see Sheba's body in the background just kind of flailing around. It's kind of funny looking. It's like the Jumpman logo, but way less aura.
Yeah. I mean, Hiroto also ends up back on the beach.
But he did it with aura, though. He got sent flying away with aura.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sheba's
my
looking
glaze
like...
no bounds, bruh. My glaze knows no bounds for Hiroto.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, meanwhile, Sheba's looking like Megami when he got, like, one-tapped by Maharaga.
You are my specials.
Oh,
he's
man.
like, dead people be like,
yeah,
slumped. And this motherfucker comes in here like twisting his fucking mustache like he's a 1930 villain. Yeah, see? That's
good, yeah.
The tremendous energy of Daitan Seki, see? It's applied to sorcery.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he finally does something. Like, obviously...
Something's the right word.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
he killed he did get rid of the Durag Datenseki force, or one of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, he did manage to like hold his own and defeat that one. But in terms of like against Airyu, he finally gets the chance to, like I said, do something. And it's not just like fighting this time around. He's able to pick up on what the hell is going on with like why these guys are getting perception blitz and like, catching Mashiro off guard. Yeah, that's another word for it. But he basically starts to like putting certain pieces together to kind of figure out what the hell is up with Airyu. And he even like reacts despite like getting, attacked from the back. He's able to like react to Airyu in a panel that kind of looks like when Sojo almost got Chihiro. Yeah. Thought that was pretty cool.
I know which panel you're talking about. Speaking of Sojo, we just finished that in our Redux readings, which was available to members first, and that came out last Thursday for members, so everyone else should get it this Thursday. Just a shameful plug, but just as like Airyu, the teleportation sorcery doesn't work on him. The backshot sorcery doesn't work on Yoshi Nojo.
Oh God.
My man's caught that. But Airyu still obviously reacted. I mean, he ain't sweating.
Crazy, right?
bit his tongue, you know, to basically break the genjutsu, if you will. But he fucks up. He starts talking shit. You know, these guys just can't help themselves. Like, he's like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's absolutely ridiculous the way like Airyu is able to block that strike, because that strike is like clearly closer like to his neck than Airyu's left hand, which is the one that he still manages to like use to block
his hand
the
comes
strike.
Back, slides under the blade, and then
like what?
Damn.
Yeah, and like that's without even mentioning the durability of like the armor or Airyu himself to be able to stop like that sort of strike.
Move.
Like no, bro.
He's not budging. He just think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I get it. So the Datanseki Grill General doesn't exist, but the Datanseki Gauntlets General does exist.
Yeah, that's Airyu. Yeah.
Yeah, and like
I'm still holding out hope for the grills guy.
Yeah, me too. That Durag Datanseki Force and with the grills coming out. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
The Yoshi Nojo does come off to me as like he's like this battle instincts like type of fighter, and Hiroto's more like your you know, textbook sorcerer swordsman maybe. You know, it's like more of a clean form swordsman, where Yoshi Nojo is just kind of that like crash out, you know, that like just berserk swordsman, just like relies on his battle instincts, which helps him here, you know, if that is the case. Like he just I mean, obviously he is a beast swordsman. I'm not, you know, downplaying his swordsmanship, just the type of swordsman he is. It's like Kenpachi, and Hiroto is like Byakuya. You know, it's like, I know you haven't seen Bleach yet or anything like that, but the fans might well, the fans will know, but we'll see if they agree.
Yeah, I mean, I still get the gist of what you're saying. It's like a personality thing, really. Hiroto just seems like the no-nonsense type of guy, whereas Yoshi Nojo is about that action. And I will say, we don't have to really, you know, because this is more like of a theory kind of thing. I did see this on Twitter, so I want to shout out Faris, goated animator, and, you know, edits kind of MMVs and just does manga edits. I don't think they did like a pretty interesting, they caught on to something where it's like both Hokuto and Yoshi Nojo, like Hokuto in the battle in the 4-way like duel talks about like when they've reached the climax, and that's something that Yoshi Nojo also says in this chapter. And you just talked about like how Yoshi Nojo has this like thirst for, you know, he's kind of like a crash out and just like looking for like a crazy sword fight. And I just like thought of that because it seems like they were kind of alluding to the potential of like Hokuto being like an offshoot of the Soga clan, or there being some sort of connection. Like, you know, it doesn't really have to be anything, but it's just something that I saw on Twitter, and I wanted to like bring it up because, you know, could be something there.
Yeah, you know, kind of like someone else from someone from the clan went outside, got some strange, you know. And then that person had a kid, and then that kid is Hokuto. You know, it's like he's got like a quarter of Soga blood in him. Yeah,
I mean, shit, Yoshi Nojo doesn't look like the type that would necessarily be faithful, right?
Yeah, my man, he's spreading that seed around.
Yeah, but that's not like it's just something I thought about, really.
It could also just be like Hokuzono. You know, he has like, I don't want to call them buzzwords, but there might just be certain words that he likes to use in certain moments to really like convey, you know, certain things depending on the heat of the moment. And it could just be like, you know, him saying the climax here, you know, is basically like next chapter, this is going to wrap up. Next chapter will be the last chapter of like Hiroshima Island, or the battle on Hiroshima Island, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like, right? And I do agree, like Hokuzono also, he's it's not strange for him to use like similar terminology when talking about like different characters. Now sometimes it is kind of like alluding to a certain connection, but it's not necessarily all the time.
Like the Phantoms thing in volume 2 of Kagurabachi. You know, Sojo brings up Phantoms, but that doesn't necessarily have to have any like relation to when they talk about the Phantoms with the Hishaku. it could be, and there could be like a direct, or it could just be like that's how he uses to kind of describe the indiscriminate, like bottom denominator people sorcery that the after the war or whatever, they just kind of flew under the radar basically. Like they don't have an existence in the world until they do, type of thing.
Yeah, and we see something similar as well when he talks about like Yura's, and like first it's with like Kyora, and it's like talking about like his mental fortitude to like hold back the Magatsumi, and Yuki Sato also gets like a similar kind of glaze when he's like kind of enduring the pain while still like able to regenerate. Like it is a similar, again, like similar terminology that at most is more like a loose connection, right? So it could be, kind of going back to this, it could be potentially hinting at something, or it could just be like Hokuzono.
And it's good because it keeps us guessing, because we don't know what is, like just maybe a word that he leans on for certain moments, or it's actually like something that actually strings along connection to characters, or like further along events in the story to like kind of reconnect them back to the beginning, and how that all kind of plays into like dynamics. It's just keep us guessing. But I guess we get back to the chapter. Yoshi Nojo, him saying that like that, show us all you got. This is the climax. That panel, he looks freaky. That dude, scariest. He looks like the scariest one on the island.
I don't know about that, but
but yeah, terrifying. If you got eyebrows like that, hey, I don't know. You freaky. You got eyebrows like that. There's someone watching this with eyebrows like that I just created my biggest op.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, like also just real quick, I'll say, going back to what we were talking about, it could always be a translation thing as well. We don't know when it is, a translation thing, and it's not really.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But kind of back to the chapter, after Yoshi Nojo has got like that mean mug on with the blood coming out of his mouth, we see that like Hiroto and Mashiro are kind of talking about how cracked Airyu is, superhuman vitality, regeneration, and like Hiroto even like entertains that like, well, maybe the other guys don't got it, the ones they defeated, but this guy's definitely got it.
Definitely got it. Like they don't have it in order for him to really, really have it.
Yeah, and it's similar. Like Hiroto says something similar to what like Mashiro recognized against one of those what you've been calling the Durak forces, which is like they can't defeat these guys with ordinary attacks. Hiroto does tell him that like the sorcery, their sorcery doesn't work. And Mashiro, that's when he's like, well, we'll just have to physically obliterate them. And he just starts using his Aku sorcery to completely wreck the ship, the Haruma that was already destroyed by the Mikaboshi.
That's crazy. Bro's playing Battleship IRL.
Yeah, and like, the way he says, Hiroto kind of like confused by what he's doing. And the way Mashiro's talking here is like he's gonna make a sacrifice play. There is kind of like mixed signals, because he says it was an honor to be chosen to work with you guys, but then he's like, I gotta do a little something before I head home. So it is a little bit of like, it does seem like he's planning to make it back home, but you and me talked about like he could very well be like overexerting himself here, and we don't know like how much of him, like what it's gonna cost to use this his sorcery at this scale.
That's large scale usage of an ability if I ever seen, because I mean we haven't seen much of his sorcery to really like, I guess, confidently say that, but I mean just from what we've seen in the series altogether, there's not a lot of sorcery abilities that we've seen used to like basically do something like this, crunch up a battleship into a ball like that. Crazy. And I think, does Ryu not hear all that shit?
I mean, he's still it looks like he's still too worried, or not worried. Worried's definitely not the word. I guess more like busy with Yoshi Nojo.
Like, is he playing with? Is he just playing with Yoshi Nojo, and he's just hearing that?
Yeah.
Like, you know that shit gotta be loud.
Yeah, I mean, he's not tripping, you know.
Yeah, he's like, whatever it is.
Whatever.
I'll just I'll just
Imagine that's how he destroys the ship.
just yeah. That explosion at the end is just him punching.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mashiro, because like his he did sustain a pretty serious blow, damage, and he got a chunk missing out of him. I mean, he's been bleeding a lot, and he was kind of getting ragdolled a little bit by the Durag Datanseki Force guy. But I mean, not that was like hurting him to a severe extent. It's just, you gotta think he's gotta be kind of like drawing out, or it would be crazy if we saw like his sorcery, but with like the black energy instead of the normal thing. That would have been cool. Like pouring his, if it can work that way with just sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been crazy, but that's neither here nor there. After we see them like him compress this thing to a big ball of iron. We cut back to the Yoshi Nojo and Aryu fight, which this is a cool panel, I thought, with after he says let's slug him with a real big chunk of iron. We just see the panel of Aryu speeding like in circles around Yoshi Nojo. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, no, that panel looks really solid. You can like peep like Yoshi Nojo trying to keep track of him, but like Aryu's just playing with his food, man.
Yeah, he's hearing that shit in the background. He's just running in circles hella fast. He's like, I can run fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck, boy. Yeah, and I mean, then he gives Yoshi Nojo the Mashiro treatment, but actually like puts his whole fucking arm into it. Just completely like removing.
He went deep.
Deep for sure.
he even took his hand off, or his arm, actually.
Yeah, we don't really even know like if he just like yanked it off as he like blitzed him, or if that was just like a result of him just going through the hand. Like, it's just, regardless, whatever the fuck it was, like Aryu is insane, man. I can't wait to like, because I definitely think he's making it out of this. Like, I don't think there's no way that I think he gets defeated here. I can't wait till we actually see him go up against an Enchanted Blade. And since it's probably gonna be Akamura, like, ooh.
If we see next chapter begin and they're on the island and there's no crater or there's no like aftermath of a big explosion, I'll be like, what the fuck?
He does it again. Hokazono does it again,
And the fact of like Hiroto he's been taking a beating at this point now. And him like, he's still like raw as fuck. He's got this big ball of iron. He's like, you sunk my battleship, and it's about to send that bitch. He hits them with gravity, and then like what Yoshi Nojo, true thug shit. Even though he's like punctured, he grabs Aryu's hand to not let him like run away. Some Rengoku type shit from Demon Slayer. He fully resigned himself to like dying there, but he had faith that delivery service man will come save him.
Oh yeah.
And I do gotta say, Sheba, that was cool. This one's all for you. Sheba's like a LARP, like Leon from Resident Evil. He's like LARPing as Leon. That's
with
like
the one-liners.
Yeah, that's like a Leon line. This one's all for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of funny,
right? Yo, I do like the sound when Hiroto hits his sword. It's bop. It's like bop it.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what he does, right? He's just kind of like,
he just hit that
bit. I think it's cool, and like you said, he applies the directional gravity of Kurotsuchi to send that huge, as Mashiro calls it, the real big chunk of iron to Aryu. And when it comes to like Yoshi Nojo, it's like he says like he's holding on to that like hand of Aryu's, or like Aryu's arm as it's like through him, and Aryu asks him like, you plan to go with me? And you know, like Yoshi Nojo clearly knows that Sheba's gonna say them because he's like,
no, don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Right? Like, I'm not that stupid. Like, I'm not that about it. You know, I thought it was it was cool.
Like I said, that's what I think. He was fully resigned. Like, if Sheba couldn't for whatever reason, like, he would have just ate that blow. I fully believe that. Yoshi Nojo seems like that type of guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yoshi Nojo has Ryu's like full forearm through him.
Yeah.
It would have like, so Sheba's teleport just like basically I was like, what if he took Ryu's like hand with him? Because like right when they teleport, obviously he's not there no more, and Ryu's arm is just not stuck in him. It would have been crazy if he would have teleported him and Ryu was with him because his arm was stuck through him.
Hey.
Yeah, it's like, oops,
fuck,
we fucked up.
Yeah. No, but that whole moment is pretty cool, and it also speaks to like the, I guess chemistry is like the word between them. Why this squad was put together and, you know, considered the strongest yet smallest squad. There was kind of like some talk on Twitter that I did see like a bit of like Azami not being in this squad is like an Azami downscale and whatever, and you know, for the agenda or jokes, like, you know, like I can see it, but at this chapter I think is a really good example of why these guys were brought together as a unit. You know, Mashiro and Hiroto's like using their sorceries in tandem, the way that Sheba's able to like keep everyone you know, like out of the line of danger or whatever you want to call it. It really feels like this like these guys like really work well together, and I feel like this is the first chapter since this fight kicked off that really shows that and really conveys that really well.
Well, the thing, and I mean to your point, I think that they wanted to send a team that was going to have chemistry with each other, and you know, they do work really well. Like we see, like they kind of all complement each other, and even they kind of, you know, are aware of each other's, I guess, proclivities as fighters, if you will. But, and I said this before, that they all are have some kind of ties to the Soga. Mashiro lesser, but remember, Mashiro is also the one that was there for the prophecy reading.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We also know he's like Sheba's like assistant, I guess. We know Sheba is the guardian of the Soga clan, but he's kind of in the doghouse because of, you know, him being the one trading letters for Chiaki and Kunishige. So I guess that's why Mashiro was there in his stead. And the other two are Soga.
I mean, Sheba was locked up as well, by the way. When Mashiro goes,
Sheba, he teleports. Can't lock this man up. But like that man was not about to go there anyway.
But
they all have ties to the Soga. You know, there's no like outside person that they have to kind of like get to know or you know, just try to work with in battle. They're all aware of each other because they have ties to the Soga clan to some degree. I mean, obviously two are Soga, but the other two, you know, we see them have some kind of ties to the Soga. So I think that's also why, like, it kind of, both of those things play into each other.
That's a good point. And like, I had, like, you're especially with like Sheba being the Soga clan guardian, like, damn, is he doing his job? Because he saves both Soga in this chapter, you know? So like, you know, you just kind of made me realize that like he's also just like doing his duty as the guardian of the Soga clan, you know, just keeping those guys safe, you know, and trying to prevent them from being cooked.
To credit Sheba, I have to say, like, the thing with his character, and I think the full through point about him is he is someone who doesn't, you know, he'll do his job and he is a strong sorcerer. He doesn't want to see people die.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't. You know, that's his thing. And like, so the events of the war and all that are gonna like weigh heavy on him as well, and I think that'll like further in the present time, I do think his character will get flushed out a good bit more there to kind of show what he struggled with after the war, because we don't get none of that really. It's all about like what Kunishige and Samura and them went through. But you know, Sheba's just a sorcerer. He wasn't an enchanted blade wielder, but he's still very much like in the recipe of what the Seitei War was. He was a big part of like the Japan side, and so like I'm sure like in the future he's gonna, or I mean it's happening now, I should say, that his character is starting to get them that like more not inner monologuing, but I'm hoping to see more inner monologues from Sheba about his experience, I guess I should say.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've said this a couple of times, but I believe that once we return to present day, after having like the full context and just seeing this arc play out, like we're gonna get a lot more from Sheba, and it's probably when we're gonna start seeing how the war really affected him. You can already kind of get an idea, especially us that like when you go back and reread, and obviously we're doing the Redux series, so we've been seeing like how his character was presented early on before getting all this extra like context, and you can already kind of like fill in certain blanks in terms of like how certain people deal with trauma, right? You can kind of get an idea of how Sheba kind of dealt with this, right? With that playful kind of personality of his, and just arrogant, outright irresponsible with certain things.
What is he like at night, when he lays his head on the pillow? Like what kind of demons is he wrestling with? Like that's, I would like to see. I
think we'll see that for sure. Yeah.
And but other than that, like we know this big hunk of iron is flying down towards Ryu, and we see Centipede pop back up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
We don't know if it'll be there at the beginning of next chapter, but
yeah,
we'll see, as they put a massive crater into the island. The people, I wonder, like people that are I just can't help but wonder, what's the king with the baby feet doing right now at this moment?
Chilling.
Yeah, he's just sitting there floating on his little chair. And he's probably like, y'all think this is done? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Like, like, again, they're probably not even worried, man. They're probably not even worried. I mean, here Hiroto is, which, by the way, with all the glaze he's getting, they should have made a statue of him and not Akamura, by the way.
The original Sword Saint. That's our Sword Saint, okay? That's the Sword Saint for me.
Yeah, I fuck with Hiroto heavy, but he's trying to do his best, his best Ukizani Soga impression by just completely sinking that island, or at least trying to. It looks like, right? Because that shit looks like a nuclear bomb in that last panel. But yeah, you can also like peep Aryu's eyes, man. Like it seems like, again, it might not even be addressed next chapter. But yeah, but also those cracks in his eyes, it is kind of hard to tell because of the hair is also like in the way. But I wonder if like, it does look like the cracks are kind of spreading or something. I don't know,
or like deepening almost, like like the black on them is it's getting, the inking on them is getting thicker.
Yeah, he's just gonna turn into a centipede.
Or he's gonna turn into, like, bro, maybe that the Mikaboshi don't have like a complete resistance to Datanseki. They just have, very good resistance to Datanseki, but it does chip away at them.
Interesting.
And maybe like he's like further using the stone's power, or and that's what's like basically why he doesn't use Centipede throughout this chapter, but like he's using it again. Maybe go back to chapter before and see if the cracks on his eyes kind of like, it can't. Oh, you know what? Like when he says Sumika, it does kind of look like maybe those cracks look a little bit like longer, but you never really know with something like that. It's kind of hard to like really gauge something like that if it's just like Hokuzono with the pen. It's hard to like remember exactly where each crack ends. Because you can say like Hatshaku's scar on his face has like different sizes, depends on what chapter you're looking at.
Yeah, and I mean, you brought up Sumika what exactly is Sumika, right? Like, is it just like some crazy amp that's what's like allowing him to do what he's doing here? Is it like the toxic air? Is that what like Sumika is? Because we know that like when he does that last chapter, there is like you see like the black sort of aura. I don't even want to call it black energy because we don't really know if that's the dark power. It doesn't really look like at this point. So I'll just call it like black aura. It is kind of like spreading like a shadow, and when he does like the ura 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 on Hiroto, it does seem like it does seem like that's where the punches are coming from, you know, like it does look like this shadow. And yeah, I just can't, like, I'm still wondering what exactly is that Sumika, like, you know, it's
like
still
I think
questions.
Sumika can like refer to like a residence, like almost like he is tapping into like the true realm in its truest state. Like that's like where he resides now, and it just kind of has like these benefits that he's granted. You know what I mean? Like his aura, like he stinks. That's that toxic air is just he stinks. But now like it could just be like a passive type of thing that he's granted, but you know, because we haven't seen him like use any abilities per se. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like he hasn't even
maybe
whooped
we'll
out
see.
like any of like insect based abilities, you know, like that one warrior whooped out bee. But he
yeah.
hasn't really done anything. Like he just said Sumika and like, you know,
and then got rid of the centipede. He just brought the bitch out to like flex a little bit, and he brought it back in.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh, you know what? Maybe next chapter opens up with Sumika again, and Sumika basically is just gonna allow him to. Maybe that's how he's gonna get somehow, like live through that blow. You know, like he used Sumika and he like resisted, and maybe there's like a further version of it or something. This one is puzzling because that is a pretty big, blow, and he already got his throat slit one time. So I mean, the man can get damaged. I mean, Sumika as well. I mean, Sumika, like we don't know what it does. To your point earlier.
Yeah, and it does seem like, I mean, he says like in the previous chapter, he says Sumika after tanking that attack from Hiroto. So it's not like that's, you know, I mean, it could be that that's exactly how he was able to tank it. But you might be cooking in terms of like him now saying it just in time, and that being what allows him to tank the blow from, this massive blow from Hiroto and Mashiro. I mean, I insist, like I definitely think he's gonna live through it. Like he's not, you know, especially when you keep in mind the fact that this is basically Sheba kind of like recounting what happened after, you know, the way it's portrayed a couple of chapters ago.
Fake float.
The fake float. Again, you know, everything that we're talking about could have to do with this like toxic air and kind of like the genjutsu aspect of it all. So there could be something there, and I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't completely given up on the dark power theory, and maybe like Hokuzono is just kind of holding off on like revealing it, because we know that is just like, you know, the highest level of energy really when it comes to like the power that it grants. So I wouldn't be surprised if like next chapter Hokuzono talks about like how he had his throat slit and that's what allowed him to like gain this incredible buff, and again he might just be kind of holding off on it. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath, right? Yeah, there's still like a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think next chapter though, whatever is gonna happen is gonna be the end of Hiroshima. You know, and I made a joke in our midweek chapter prediction stream that we do basically every week. We've been consistent with that.
Yes,
so y'all check that out as well. You know, usually happens on Wednesdays nights. But I made a joke about what if Ryu does get cooked here, but the point wasn't for Ryu to be, you know, this is just a taste. And I mean, honestly, I said that as a joke because I do think as well that he's like gonna be the one to box Soga when Soga enters the war. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Or I say Soga, but Akamura Soga.
Yeah, they'll call you out.
Yeah. That's really all I have for the chapter. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
No, I mean, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. But it is just kind of like more of a little observation we talked about before I started recording. You had made the point last episode, I believe, when we had Alonzi on, about how like each enchanted blade could have a certain aspect of the Mikaboshi. And I originally, like, I'll admit that like I wasn't really kind of like convinced, because we've seen, even though it's been just a little bit, but what we know from the Mikaboshi, it's very heavily like insect based, and I just believe that it was the Magatsumi exclusively that was like modeled after the Mikaboshi's abilities. However, it is that you know came to happen.
Text.
Yeah. My phone bill is due. But yeah, so like I just want to say that like the first thing that came to mind when we were talking about this toxic air, and you had brought up like the word genjutsu, like I immediately thought of Kamiyuri, and that's what like Banquet, you know, Kamiyuri's Banquet, and that's when I was like, wait, you know, like it could be nothing, right? Like there could be nothing there, and we don't, like I said, we don't really even know if that's Sumika or what exactly what is it. But like that immediately like had me thinking that you might have been right in terms of like each enchanted blade also having, even if it's like one small aspect, right, that is linked.
An offshoot.
Yeah, man, because like something, even if it's like just one ability, again, like Banquet, and it's not even the same, right? Like Banquet is also like the way the verbiage that is used to describe Banquet is a little bit different, but essentially both tamper and like play with your senses. So
yeah,
I'm thinking you could have been onto
Yeah,
something.
I mean, bro, I just don't think you're cooking, or you didn't see the cookage of like the lightning bug.
I didn't. I really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm probably I'm probably gonna be like 2 for 40 now, by the way. But we ball. Fuck it, we ball.
I think there's something there. I think like, you know, whether it's like I said, like a ability, like a just one ability, just slightly related, slightly similar, vaguely, you know, like yeah, could be.
Yeah, we'll see. But honestly, I think that'll do it for us. You know, a little bit. This episode's a little shorter than the last few, but hey, you know, quality over quantity. Am I right?
That's a good one. I mean, not a whole lot to talk about either. This chapter, we talked about how like the previous chapters had set like an insanely high bar, whereas this chapter, you know, we do get a little bit of like more lore when it comes to Hiroto and Kurotsuchi, but this chapter is like, I feel like the first one since this flashback started that just kind of like continues, like just kind of I don't want to even use the word stalls, but it doesn't really like go bigger, right, and give us like the lore dump and just like this big sense of scale like the previous chapters had done. Obviously, sense of scale, that last attack in the final panel is insane, but just in terms of the experience for us readers, this chapter just kind of kept you know, just like a line. It just kind of stayed there.
Like in terms of like talking about like the possibilities and the grand scale of the war, theory craft, and it doesn't add much to that. So like, you know, like the bar of like hype and like in that sense, in that regard, every chapter has been going up and up and up and up. This chapter doesn't go down, you know, it just kind of stays like a consistent like height, you know, it's just a consistently good pace, whereas nothing like added to the that experience to like go further up. But I mean, I think that's what next chapter is for. You know, the conclusion is going to be huge.
Well said. Yeah, well said. This is still like a banger climax and a great chapter overall. So yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for us. Y'all have a good week. In fact, let me check if there's a chapter. I didn't bother looking.
It doesn't say. I have
Gold
the app.
Week.
Doesn't really say, at least in the app.
No,
there is a
May
break
10th.
week.
Yeah. Gold Week. And we have, you know, tomorrow is the press event, jump press event. So that anime coming. We know we're gonna be hyped.
We might just talk about it. We might just drop a little special video kind of talking about whatever it is that we get. We'll see.
Or during the stream, we'll talk about it. You'll hear from us about it for sure. But
for sure.
You know, so we will do a midweek stream, even if there's not a chapter next week. Just talking about the jump press event. You know, that's what that could be about.
Yeah.
But we'll see y'all then. Peace.